are back at the St. Clair College Sportsplex here in Windsor, Ontario, where we are about to get set for Game 2 of our OCAA basketball doubleheader. Men's action as the Lambton Lions coming in with a 7-7 record against the St. Clair Saints, a 4-9 record. I'm Aaron Sanders, that's Royal Church. We'll get right down to business, Royal. The Lambton Lions are at 500 right now as far as their standings are concerned, and one of their leading scorers is Tyrell Peters, who's putting on a phenomenal display so far this season alone.
Yeah, he averages a little over 22 points a game, Aaron. It seems like this guy may be in line for an all-star. He's that good, and he leads this team in terms of his play, and he's the emotional leader of the team.
Absolutely, and you're looking at it, they're just coming off a good win against Conestoga in overtime, 100-93. The St. Clair Saints on the other end, they haven't been lucky as of so far. They are losers of their last 4 games, especially losing to Redeemer and let alone Niagara just the other weekend. So what's going to be the key for St. Clair to put on a big winning streak here tonight?
Well, when you're 4-9, Aaron, and you've lost 4 games in a row, you gotta take yourself by the bootstraps and build yourself up. Somebody's got to take the lead there. Somebody's got to take the lead and get it done for you, the captain of the team.
Absolutely. You look at David Gomez Jr. Glenn Willis-Paris will get the start right there as you see him. But the St. Clair Saints, they are 8th in the West, so they're just trying to get up there and try to get the final playoff spot in the OCAA. Now, the last time both of these two have met was around November 21st, as the Saints lost that 98-78. The Lions had a 9-point lead at halftime, and they outscored St. Clair 48-37 in the second half. Jalen Sykes led the Saints with 23 points, and Tyrell Peters, who would you know, scored 28 points to lead the Lions to that victory. But a lot has changed so far, but there's got to be a lot of changes going on for both of these clubs if they want to get a good playoff spot in the OCAA, and that's where we lie right now. The Lions and the Saints. It's going to happen in the next matter of minutes, and when we come back from this commercial timeout, Justin Prince and I will have the call for you. You're watching St. Clair Saints basketball here on We Digital.
Hi, I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Butcher goes down. Look front to Berg, drive the save. Pass to the shot to the save. And he's right in. Oh, and Berg stops it behind the net. Marksman wipes it right in front, talking, shoots. Oh, and what a save.
You're watching We Digital.
I learn by doing. I learn by reacting to a situation. St. Clair puts me directly into my industry. I'm dealing with real patients, real life situations. It's not just theory, it's not book work anymore. I choose to take control of my future, and my path is St. Clair College. I choose to be here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the St. Clair College Sportsplex for tonight's coverage of OCAA men's basketball between the Lambton Lions and the St. Clair Saints here on We Digital Productions. I'm Justin Prince, alongside me is Aaron Sanders, as the 4-9 Saints look to break a 4-game losing streak tonight against the 7-7 Lions. A need-to-win situation if you're a fan of the Saints or a player for the Saints to turn things around for the rest of the way.
And you know what? They've been on a 4-game losing streak, unfortunately, JP. They have the talent to do it, but the problem is they aren't able to finish off into the second half. This is a team where they really need to capitalize on right out of the gate. It's good to have a first half, but you have to have a stronger second half too.
Tonight's starters: DeJuan Lynch, Nick Vagley, David Gomez Jr., Glenn Willis-Paris, Jalen Sykes for the St. Clair Saints. For the Lambton Lions, Tyrell Peters along with DeAndre Reed, alongside Karen Edwards, along with Keith Ia, alongside the starting 5 of Danish Hedgejuice. As we're underway here from the St. Clair College Sportsplex, Lions with possession. Quick leaner in the lane, no good. Picked up Willis-Paris. And St. Clair making some changes to the lineup to try and change things up. Vagley making the start, making the first bucket.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons why they had that start. Have Nick Vagley start. He can bring up so much speed. He's known for his corner threes, but when you give the ball to him, you better get out the way.
Quick plays back and forth around the floor. Edwards double teamed by Lynch and Vagley. Lynch goes off to the benches. Still 7 on the shot clock. Hyper pace. Laria off the rim, no good. Picked up her second straight rebound for Willis Paris. Tonight's officials, Kevin Greenwood, Brandon Tingley, Scott Ryder watching along as Sykes straightens the 3.
Don't say anything yet because, again, the Saints are known for getting into a hot start, but they cool things down near the end of the first half.
And we have a lot to discuss in terms of that point in the next couple moments here. Lambton Lions allowing a 5-0 run to start off tonight's matchup. Back outside goes the Lions, trying to set things up. Hadjadus could not keep possession. Gomez Jr. goes coast to coast. And David Gomez Jr., one of the top players in the OCAA this season, makes his first bucket. Alley-oop attempt, nearly hitting the head on his rim. Picked up by Vagley on the rebound. Hegedus was the alley-oop target on that play and nearly knocked his head on the bottom side of the rim, Aaron.
It was interesting to see that as Gomez Jr. goes for 3 and miss it. But we've seen during the warm-ups how they could get into the air, JP, and that's just one of their traits.
Back outside go the Lions, driving inside. Laria unable to get the bucket. 7-2 run, first bucket for Lambton.
With that outstretched hand, he was able to get the jump hook.
Vagley tried to put up a leaner, couldn't make the shot. He's drawn for his first personal as he tries to go for the reach. First foul of the game for the Saints, first foul for Nick Vagley so far tonight. 7-2 run so far for St. Clair, but of course coming into tonight, as mentioned, 4-game losing streak for St. Clair. Currently in the mid-pack for majority of statistics. But right now they've been needing a change. That's why they started guys like Vagley and Willis Paris, taking guys like Dalen Davis and Ian Smart out of the lineup.
Well, keep in mind too, Willis Paris has been performing real well in the last couple of games. Quick 3 as they miss it. That's the type of change the Saints needed. They needed power.
Gomez Jr. going coast to coast, gets it. And David Gomez Jr. has 4. Had 32 points in their loss to Niagara on January the 20th. Tapped out of bounds, nearly Willis Paris trying to save it. Trying to swing around the ball is the Lions. Swinging in the triple is Peters. Peters, the leading scorer, makes his first bucket of the night.
You know what, that's a good look for Peters, but the Saints got to keep in mind on those second chance opportunities, you have to hustle down.
Saints trying to score the bucket once again. 7 minutes to go in the first, just 3 minutes in here on Lee Digital Productions. Jalen Sykes misses his second 3 attempt. Out to Vagley with a fresh 14. Saints lead 9-5 over the Lambton Lions. Lynch inside, trying to make the defense look hungry for Lynch, able to make the second chance. Jawan Lynch able to follow his own miss as Edwards hands it back off to Laria. Laria behind the back, tapped away by Sykes, off to the Saints benches. Lions keep possession. First substitution coming in. Willis Paris out, Smart into the game for the first time tonight. The former Western Mustang.
And you know what, that's Def matching up with Def, and they were talking about changes. You have one in Def, and you have one in confident shooters.
There's a confident shooter, averaging 52% from the field. Peters drains his second triple in as many attempts. All of a sudden, a one-possession game thanks to Tyvel Peters. Lynch able to find Vagley, down low, Smart, deflected away by the Lions. Peters on the fast break. Draws the whistle as he falls into Vagley and our cameraman as he'll go to the line for the first time tonight.
It's a good eye for Marty, our cameraman, to get out the way, but look at that baseball pass all the way to Peters.
Indeed, right now, and he'll set up for the first time tonight from the stripe. Just 58% for the season for the second-year man from Toronto. But he is third in total points scored entering tonight on the season as he drains the first of 2 free throws. A very deadly player and also lit up the Saints when these two teams played back in November.
Absolutely. Tyrell Peters ended up with 23 points, 4 assists. And again, that was a 20-point victory for Lambton.
Lambton trails by 1 to the Saints so far, just past the 4-minute mark of the first quarter. Justin Prince alongside Aaron Sanders here on We Digital as Gomez Jr. throws it away. Nick Vagley, the intended player on the pass.
Once again, I said the Saints go off on a hot start, but it's things like that that just cools them down. And you don't want to cool down. You have to be on a hot streak.
Trying to start a hot streak now are the Lions, trailing by just one, looking for the first lead of the night so far. Edwards passed out. Laria into the paint over Smart. Off the back rim, gets it.
How about no hesitation just to drive right in and challenge Smart?
And a lot of players you have to say with length on this Lions team coming into tonight. Lots of players that can provide pressure. As Sykes tries to go in for the layup, no good. Second chance, Smart rejected inside. Third chance down the baseline, misses Sykes. Picked up on the rebound by Reed. DeAndre Reed with the rebound, taking it up slowly are the Lions. And the Lions shorthanded as well. Jason Watts, their second leading scorer, out tonight with a day-to-day lower body injury. Watching as Peters makes the jumper.
And that southpaw shooter just gave the Saints a timeout. A hot start, but once again, Lambton with their big run to get the lead for them, and now they're up 3.
3-point lead so far here tonight. Let's look at the men's basketball West Division standings for the OCAA. St. Clair comes into tonight 4-9 as talked about. Lambton within the picture for the playoffs, 6 right now in the standings for the West. St. Clair, if the playoffs were to start today, would be out in 8th.
Absolutely, and you know it's been a tough outing for St. Clair. You lose those 4 games, you drop right down to the standings, but you look at Lambton's schedule, they're trying to find their ways to get out of a funk too, because you look at them at since December, they have only won 2 of their last 5 games.
And the last 4 games for them after tonight, though, University of Toronto, Mississauga on the 27th, Redeemer on February 1st, at home Fanshawe the 5th, on the road against Mohawk. Let's take a look at the replay, though, with Peters on the jump shot, pardon me there, as it's a 3-point lead for the Lions over top the Saints here, Aaron.
Yeah, you know, Lambton Lions, they're enjoying this game well because they're establishing the pace. They're not slowing things down, and they're making sure everybody's at their right places. And you got to look at Tyrell Peters once again. He really got the scoring to go for the Lions, and that's been working for them so far. Saints have to capitalize, and they got to look for good shots.
5 for 11 are the Saints from the field to start off the game so far tonight, just past the halfway point of the first quarter. Lynch lined up with Smart as Lynch watches a Smart, couldn't grab the rebound as he missed the shot. Taken up near coast to coast, Laria back outside Peters. Peters calls for the swing from Edwards. Edwards back out to Reed. Reed for the triple. Doesn't get the shot, tapped out of bounds. This will go back the Saints' direction. So the Saints with a substitution on that after the timeout, Dalen Davis into the game for the first time tonight. So the original starting 5 from opening day back in, or on the floor together rather, for the first time tonight, Aaron.
And you know what's interesting, because once again with all these changes, you get to see how people can work in their different positions.
Sykes swings it around to Davis, back around Smart, around to Gomez Jr. Gomez Jr. in traffic, can't get the lucky roll. Taking it now up on the rush. Once again, Laria down low. Inside, Peters can't make it. Picked up by Sykes on the board. Sykes with an important breakdown to Gomez Jr. in the corner on the front rim. Davis picks up the second chance. Still 15 on the shot clock. Down low, Gomez Jr. nearly slams it.
And you know what? I call that a shot of deception. A lot of people thought that he was going to finish it off with the left hand, but he picked it up with 2 hands and instead just curved it off his right.
Gomez Jr. with 6. Driving right inside, meanwhile, is Hagedouche. Hagedouche coming into tonight, 39% from the field, 4 points, 4 rebounds, able to make that bucket. Swinging around Davis, meanwhile, trying to spread the floor around the Saints. Sykes, high post out to Smart, down low, Lynch gets the pump down low, gets the and 1.
And you know, it all starts with the shoulder. When you pump fake and you move on to the left side, you're going to have enough room just to finish off real good. Look at those pretty passing right there. Dalen Davis on the pass. It's just ball movement. That's just beautiful basketball. And then you see Jalen Sykes moving in, and then right down through the grapevine, Jawan Lynch.
67% are the Saints as a whole, 11th in the OCAA as Lynch completes the N1. He was a 51% shooter entering tonight as he comes off the floor. First time we see Ali Mansour tonight. Of course, made a jersey number change midway through the season. Now wears number 15 here for St. Clair. Mansour sees the pass go right on by, deflected down low. Off the front rim goes the second chance by Edwards. Smart able to find Sykes for the right hand. Layup gets it. And Sykes gives the Saints back the lead with under 3 minutes to go in the first.
And you know what? He was able to take off right from the elbow. Quick foul. And you know what? That's what the Saints, you know what? That's been the problem for the Saints for the last couple of games. Fouling near the three-point lane. Brandon Segan saying that that wasn't a foul, but we seen it right for ourselves, and that was beyond the arc, and that was for sure a foul. Somebody was chasing him right down, and they got the contact.
Davis called for the foul. Sykes comes off the floor. Coming in for the first time with that, Dallas Aikens. But either way to line, Edwards to shoot 3, misses the first. An 89% shooter, the second-year player from Brampton. Also third on the team in points per game as he drains the second. Of course, one thing to note with Lambton, they're 5th in points per game, 7th in field goal percentage, 2nd as a group from the free throw line, 72.4% as a group from the line.
And you can see this is not working well for St. Clair, because once you foul them, that's trouble. And you can see they're playing a 2-3 zone at the moment, and they're taking a lot away from down deep.
Especially inside the paint, making them use the three-point opportunities. Davis can't make the triple. St. Clair continuing to struggle from deep here in this first quarter. Just one made triple so far. Lambert Cador, meanwhile, off the bench, makes his first triple.
And you know what? As the defense was moving, Lambton did a good job of just finding good spaces to get the open shot.
Hegedus lined up alongside Lambert Cador right now for Lambton, rounding out the 5 right now. Shakur Seymour lined up with Peters. Peters seeing the switch. Meanwhile, on the outside from Gomez Jr. And David Gomez Jr. now has 9. Believe it or not, the only player on the floor at the moment for St. Clair that has a point so far. Peters back and forth on the outside. Lambert Cador able to find Hegedus. Back outside, Peters no good. Tapped off the left hand of Danish Hegedus as will go the other direction. TJ Howard comes onto the floor meanwhile for St. Clair for Ian Smart.
And you know, in the last few games, JP, he's been warming up from the bench. You remember the last home game they had here right down against Sheridan. The guy warmed up and scored 9 quick points, even though it was a losing effort. So he's getting more minutes on the court.
Mansour makes the triple.
And remember, he haven't made much of those because he averages 1.6 points per game. This is a guy that's not talking about scoring. He's more in the assist department.
Indeed, right now, driving towards the bucket. Meanwhile, Journey Joseph draws the whistle, and he'll go to the line to shoot for 2.
You know what? That was a good foul from St. Clair. We'll have another look at this. Great drive from number 7, Journey Joseph. It's just the ability to go right into traffic. He tried to finish strong, but he did the right thing. He saw a gap in the defense down the center, and he just drove right in from the left.
Multiple substitutions coming in with that free throw situation drawn. Shooting 68% for the stripe on the season, Joseph, as the first one does not fall. Coming off a big game, though, in 24 minutes, had 23 points in the win in overtime against Conestoga.
So think of it, every minute he scored either a point or 2 points. So it goes to show how effective this guy was from the previous game.
David Gomez Jr. drives inside. Meanwhile, doesn't get the lucky bounce. Howard inside the paint. Deflected away out of bounds. 13 still on the shot clock, a minute to go in the first. On the floor right now for the Saints, Aikens along with Sykes, Howard, Gomez Jr., Mansour. Joseph lined up on the floor alongside Seymour right now. Meanwhile, for Lambton rather, Deshaun Kelly was the one who came on in, putting in the jump shot. Missing the jump shot indeed is Aikens. Up the floor comes Lambert Cador. Cador, no good. Lambert Cador sees the whistle called afterwards on the rebound. And we'll see who this one goes towards.
Let's take a quick look of it.
Push foul, push in the back is the call.
From Mally Mansour. No, never mind. That's an offensive foul.
Yes, indeed. That is going to be the second team foul for Lambton in the quarter. So the push in the back call is the call. Gomez Jr. gives it off to Sykes meanwhile. Sykes out to Mansour, swinging around to Gomez Jr. Gomez Jr. over the defense, wedgies the ball. And we have an error wedgie, folks, here on We Digital Productions.
I believe this is the first wedgie of the 2018-19 campaign.
I believe we had one more, did we not, before?
Way to wedge that one in.
Yes, indeed. Indeed, in this one. Against the line zone, you have to say, though, St. Clair curling in a need to attack it rather than try not to dribble. Have to do it with passing.
Hey, look at that, the ball movement right there.
And the passing leads to Sykes drawing the whistle. Fifth personal of the quarter. Pardon me, third personal of the quarter for Lambton.
And once again, the Lions staying stagnant with the 2-3 zone. And Jalen Sykes, he had the go-ahead just to drive to the basket, but good ball movement from St. Clair from the previous play.
Reset the shot clock to 14 under 20 seconds to go in the first. Howard, this time over the 14 foul as he'll go to the line to shoot for 2.
The one thing I've seen about TJ Howard in his last 3 years of the St. Clair Saint uniform is his ability to persevere and follow through with his shots. This is a guy that not only could hustle, but he brings so much dominance. And you think you would bring dominance in the rebounding. No, he moves well off the ball. And when he has the ball, he's able to surge through without drawing any contact to the point where it's an offensive foul. So he's improved his game since 2016.
And remember, he started last season for some games, 9 in fact last year.
That's right. And that's one of the main reasons why he was able to get more minutes this year. The main reason why he was able to start was because the aforementioned speed and power.
Here comes the double team for the half-court press. Lambton spreads it out, 3 seconds to go in the first, trying the whistle down the baseline, Joseph.
That's a tough call. That is a real tough call. We're going to have to run the tape back and see what happened here. TJ Howard got left in his dust. Mansour tried to help out, and you could see Dallas Aikens, he just had his hand up, so it's a tough one to call.
And that was Seymour, apologies dear. He drains the free throw. He's still perfect from the stripe on the season, mind you, but not how you want to end off a first quarter with 1 second to go out of 10 minutes of play. Misses his first on the season. Second chance chucked up. Almost bounces in, would have been after the buzzer. But either way, St. Clair leads 25-23 after 1 quarter of play here on We Digital Productions. We'll take a step aside. When we come back, we'll have to start your second quarter here from the St. Clair College Sportsplex. Saints lead by 2.
Hi everybody, this is Tina Brigley, host of In and Out of Your Mind with Tina Brigley on WeTV. Join me and my guests while we explore ways to get out of your mind and into your life. Join us each and every week for a new show. Come see me here on WeTV.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor, Essex County, We Now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
Did you know that the most severe injuries in our region are motor vehicle crashes? 65% of road fatalities last year were directly the result of distracted driving. 90% of injuries arriving in our emergency rooms are preventable. Our message to you this summer is, put down the phone. Just drive. Let's work together to keep our trauma stretchers empty.
Welcome back, everyone, to the St. Clair College Sportsplex here in Windsor, Ontario. The Saints hold on to a 2-point lead. Barely, though, in terms of how that momentum shifted for the first 10 minutes. Justin Prince alongside Aaron Sanders here on We Digital Productions here in this matchup so far. Man, oh man, this has been a good start from the, especially from the athleticism we've seen for the Lions.
Well, you know what? This is the type of athleticism we're used to when it comes to St. Clair. But again, Lambton Lions know how to hold their own when it comes to it. James Grant's been doing a good job making those quick adjustments for Lambton, and you can see the co-coaches Matt Sykes and Brendan Seegan doing a good job trying to adjust to it as well. It's a game of speed and power, if you ask me.
Of course, remember James Grant, entering 11th season for 2018-19, the first coach in the team's history to win a playoff game, as well as the first to lead them to an OCAA championship. That championship coming from a couple years ago, I believe that was there. Either way, Sykes can't make the triple. Just about 30 seconds into the second quarter as the ball is tapped out of bounds. Keeping possession is the Lions. To correct myself there, the team had advanced to the OCAA Championship Tournament 3 of the past 4 years, the Lions have. Trying to set up the offense, Journey Joseph, making his way to the bucket on a nice journey for the N1.
And TJ Howard will take the blame for that. Good drive in from the right side. That's just a beautiful look for Journey Joseph.
And Journey Joseph to the line, 68% from the stripe once again coming into tonight. Completes the N1. Just like that, the Lions retake the lead. You have to say one of the main positives, though, from that second quarter, we're discussing this with Royal Church, who will return for halftime, is about the passing. Able to break through the zone rather than trying to do it dribbling.
They almost did right there as Mansour pulls up.
And Mansour drills it. Mansour takes back the lead as we go back and forth to start off the second quarter. On the floor right now, Edwards passing it off to Reed. Reed has it stripped away, tapped out of bounds. As he'll stay Lambton possession, he's lined up with Peters. Also, once again, Joseph mentioned, Hadjadouj on the floor lined up as well.
They're going to have to find some way to contain Tyrell Peters, because once he touched the ball, he's able to score.
And glad you brought that up, because he might get a touch here. Joseph to Peters, down low, finds his way to a passer, deflected away, intercepted. Here comes Sykes, going coast to coast after the steal, draws the whistle. He'll get the bunny ears. And goes to line, as you see from this replay, going coast to coast.
Straight from the transition, Jalen Sykes maintaining the dribble and the balance. And he's able to get the shove from the right side.
And Jalen Sykes, as we discussed a few times this year, one of those main key players that came from Michigan, in fact, comes into tonight 10th in the league in points per game right now, 20.2 on the season on 48% shooting.
And one of the main reasons, JP, is when he's right down on the post, he's not afraid to extend his hand and guide that ball off the backboard, so that leads to an easy 2 points, to the point where it's going to be a mismatch each and every time you put a guy right in front of him. Especially
when you look towards the length he's got as a player. Either way, Lions still trail now by 3 after the 2 free throws. Vaguely nearly pokes it away. Sykes tries to give a chase as it goes back to the Lions. So Nick Vaguely onto the floor now, along with Mansour, along with Howard. Joanna Lynch rounding out the 5 on the floor now once again on the squad. Again, Mansour, Lynch, Sykes, Vaguely, Howard. Nearly stolen away. Joseph keeps possession. Joseph drives by Vaguely, makes it look easy.
And that's what Journey Joseph has been doing all day. He leaves the defender right in his dust with the hesitation, and he's been driving from the right side. Once Journey Joseph gets that right side, there's no point in containing him.
Journey Joseph, 6 points in the first half so far. Lynch finding Howard, testing his range, no good.
That looked like a really good shot from outside.
Just rimmed down on the shot. Edwards finding his way to Peters. Peters spreading the floor. Are the Lions back outside? Is Joseph? Yes. And Joseph having a strong game off the bench so far here tonight. Again, remember, had 23 in his last matchup, as mentioned in the first. Sykes for the quick response. Yes.
And another thing, too, about Jalen Sykes is not only he outstretches his arm for the finger roll, but he's able to get enough separation to pull up for his patented jumper from the top of the key.
Jump shot no good, goes off of Sykes. Fresh 14 coming up for the Lions. Substitutions coming in. Willis Paris coming in with David Gomez Jr. now onto the floor. Coming out Howard. And we'll see who fills in Gomez Jr.'s spot at the point guard spot as Howard off the floor. Either way, Willis Paris, Howard, Vaguely, Sykes, Lynch, the lineup now. 3 minutes into the second quarter here on We Digital Productions as it's stripped away by the Saints.
Risky pass.
Top pass to Sykes. What a great move to turn a risky pass into a phenomenal pass from Lynch to Sykes.
I'm going to have to see the tape again because that was a very risky pass. Jawan Lynch was almost within reach. How about that strip? Vaguely with the eyes and that beautiful tip pass from Jawan Lynch. Who would have thought that Jawan Lynch would just have enough airtime in him just to tap it?
Timeout called on the floor as the Saints retake the lead 33-31. With the last road trip for the Saints, they dropped both of their games as talked about for the losing streak, both of them by double digits. 101-72 to Redeemer, then to Niagara 103-90 in a game where, discussing this with Coach Sykes, in fact, and Coach Segan, they mentioned that had a quick start started flat in the first, came back in the third, ran out of gas in that later the two road games.
And keep in mind, when it comes to Niagara, it's a matter of pace for them. We've seen them in this gym not so long ago, and Saints gave them a run for their money, but it's just a matter of them not containing the big boys to get the job done.
And one of the main keys for the Saints to try and keep that pace you mentioned a bit into kind of control rather, is controlling the transition three-point game, specifically limiting the transition in three-point games from Lambton. They've been able to limit some of the transition, but so far the three-point opportunities have been coming in for the Lions in bunches at times, 4 triples out of 8 attempts.
Look at this full court pressure from St. Clair.
Stripped away on the full court pressure. Lynch finding Gomez Jr. to Vagley for the assist. Nick Vagley with the quick bucket. St. Clair now leads by 4. And now going for the trap is St. Clair. Half-court trap. Great pass from Edwards to the corner. Laria tapped away. And that is going to at least stay on that side of the floor for the Lions. Inbound coming up for Deshaun Kelly.
Really good strip from Jawan Lynch. He did it the most difficult spot from the corner.
Tap back out of bounds for the re-inbound with 12 still on the shot clock.
And you can see with this defense, it's really bringing up the confidence for St. Clair.
It's time to go back outside to Edwards. Edwards getting isolation. Wide open the paint for the Lions. Peters with 3 on the shot clock, airballs it. And Gomez Jr. picks up the rebound. Gomez Jr. a deadly shooter and a deadly passer, finding Sykes with contact, gets the second chance layup and put it in.
The best thing about it was he kept DeLandre Reed right behind him after the first attempt. He didn't know he was going to get the rebound.
And whistle up the floor. And first personal for the Saints, coming up a pushing foul. And this one called on Jawan Lynch for his first personal. Under 6 minutes to go in the first quarter as Edwards tries to dribble it on down for the Lions. Lions going a slower tempo. Oh, Edwards saying, I'm pulling up for quick ones. Second chance opportunity inside. Laria drawing the whistle.
And Laria tried to pull a fast one with the right hand.
And that's why the basketball basket is still shaking here. You see the fight for Reed. Then that backdoor cut that eventually leads to the failed dunk and the 2 free throws coming up.
And we've seen Laria just dunking up a storm during the pregame, JP. I'm surprised the Bolts are still holding on to the hoops as he misses the first free throw.
69% from the stripe is Laria on the season, missing the first 2. First trip to the line, now has 5, making the second. 5-point lead now for St. Clair. Vaguely trying to pass it to Sykes, still able to recover. He's got 15.
You know what, it's the type of awareness that's keeping Sykes well into this game. He didn't need to bend down that much just to get the loose ball.
And there's been a lot of times this season that Sykes has been able to step up. Vaguely gets the steal for the Saints. Finding his way to Willis Paris. Off the front rim, whistle after the shot. And they're pointing for the inbound towards the baseline. We'll see if this is going to send him here to the line for the inbound. They're going to signal for the free throws, it appears here for Willis Paris, yes.
Yeah, Willis Paris is just lining up for the free throws.
And the team's second foul coming up for Lambton. 1 foul each right now for Peters, Alon, along with Rhea, as well as Paris to shoot 2. Willis Paris, the second-year player from Windsor, was the backup center last year, misses the first. But was also 6th in blocks last year with 25 for the former Kennedy Clipper.
And he has one of them here tonight. And keep in mind that his former, well, still current teammate for the Kennedy Clippers is Ali Mansour.
Second free throw is good from Willis Paris. Came into tonight 73% for the stripe. Substitution coming back in as Danish Hegedouche comes in. Timeout now called on the floor, as well as a stoppage in play. 40-32. Saints with control so far in this one, 15-9 advantage. Reminder that our next webcast for We Digital coverage of Saints basketball is Saturday, January the 26th. Starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Time with the ladies, men's at 8 p.m. as the University of Toronto Mississauga Eagles come into town. A big matchup for the ladies after the loss earlier this evening. Once again, tip-off time 6 p.m. Eastern for the ladies, men at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can see that on We Digital Productions at WeDigital.ca. Saints right now in the midst of the huddle, up by 8, +6 in the quarter, scoring. However, there's still a lot to be decided in terms of some of the mistakes they've made at times.
Well, they got to keep in mind, too, they're making up for it with great defense. It all started with Jawan Lynch's ability to strip the ball away. He's doing a real good job not drawing many of those fouls. But on the offensive end, they got to find some way to get the ball movement, but at the same time, they have to limit Lambton's top shooters.
And, of course, you got to talk about some of these opportunities. They've been starting to come quicker and quicker from St. Clair on the offensive end.
Absolutely.
And that, in turn, has been able to cut their way towards the bucket for a lot of opportunities as the inbound will be taken by Peters.
And the majority of the times for Lambton, it's been Journey Joseph that's been driving it up. As they strip the ball away, it will still be Lambton ball.
And one thing to note, when St. Clair is gone for either the half-court trap or the full-court press, it's been starting to break the Lions' offensive sets. This time, able to break their way across half-court. Halfway to go in the second quarter here on We Digital. Driving in towards the bucket, Lambert-Cador. As Dwayne Lambert-Cador will go to the line to shoot for 2.
You know what, I'm impressed with the discipline of St. Clair so far. That's been one of the reoccurring vices for this season alone. But they're making smart fouls. Albeit that 3-point free throw attempt, they're making smart fouls. They're making sure nobody gets those easy 2s.
And Cador Lambert, first free throw, makes it a 7-point game.
And you got to keep in mind, too, with Lambton, they're speeding up, and that's causing a lot of turnovers for them. It's like the old expression, be quick, but don't hurry.
And that hurrying has caused a lot of points off turnovers. +5 for St. Clair, 9-4. Putting up the 3, Vaguely off the back rim. Picked up on the rebound once again, this time by Hegedouche, driving right in for the hard layup, Joseph. And Joseph is down.
That's a hard fall, and that's hard to see. He's clutching his left leg.
And not good here going down on the play, Journey Joseph, who is having a strong game off the bench. Being checked out by the coaching staffs here. Ian Smart going to come in, already coming in is Rhea. We'll go to commercial break. We'll be back in just a few pardon me here, as it looks like Joseph being helped off the floor now. Being brought along by the training staff and some of the coaches for the Lambton Lions after the hard fall.
And that was a hard one. But then again, we've seen how Journey Joseph performed so far this evening, because he's been able to drive right down near the baseline and finish it off. But one of the hard issues is when you land hard enough, that's going to take a little bit of air out of you.
Maria will take the free throws for him now. And will be checked by the training staff as he drills the N1. 40-37 the score, just a one-possession game, 4:40 to go in the first half. Lynch sweat out to Sykes. Sykes calling for the screen from Ian Smart. Smart unable to shut off Peters. Back to Lynch. Lynch contested triple. Air balls it just touching the rim, in fact, as it gets to the Smart. Still 3 on the shot clock. Down to 1, intercepted by Peters. Here comes the fast break, wide open for the right-hand Lambert-Cador. Timeout called once again by St. Clair. And St. Clair has seen the lead go from 8 to just 1 in the span of about a minute and a half. Of course, the Westbys are coming up just this upcoming April. The Westbys are proud to welcome for the 14th Annual Westby Awards the keynote speaker this season, Nicholas Lindstrom, the former Detroit Red Wing. The Westbys being held once again Monday, April 15, 2019 at the Caboto Club in Windsor, Ontario. Visit thewestbys.ca and nominate a deserving athlete for the Westby Award. Tickets available soon.
Say hello to Griff right there. You think he could be nominated for a Westby for best mascot in the city?
I don't know if that's a category yet, but potentially.
Well, I think so, because I think he's a good sport about the whole thing.
Indeed, right now, a great event. 4:16 to go in the second. Not so great of a past minute and a half, though, from St. Clair.
Well, you know, the way I see it, St. Clair has been making so many costly turnovers. We've seen the quick three right before the timeout. It was an air ball. Nick Vagley did all he can to save the ball, but it was too little, too late, because nobody was set up for the second chance. And nobody, as a result, was ready for the fast break defense.
4:16 to go in the second quarter as Lynch is lined up with Gomez Jr. Sykes, Smart, Vagley rounds out the 5 on the floor for St. Clair out of the timeout. St. Clair College trying to break a 4-game losing spell, as mentioned at the top of the broadcast. Currently looking to hold on to this lead. Vagley drills it.
It's been a while since we've seen Nick Vagley hit one of those corner threes in a home game.
Nick Vagley, first triple of the night. Ball's tapped out of bounds. Still a 4-point game, still 18 still on the shot clock now after the deflection. Lions with the ball, quickly handed off on the inbound Lambert Cador. Lambert Cador running the point guard spot. Pick set. Hegedus trying to run towards the outside. Has the mismatch with Gomez Jr. Swung to the outside to Peters meanwhile. Peters for the reversal. No good. Didn't draw the iron. Not noticing the clock there was Hegedus on that play down low.
Well, the Saints were able to contain him based off the double team on from the baseline drive. So that prompted a turnover, shot clock violation. Saints trying to find a way to expand this lead.
The last time Nick Vagley drilled a triple at home, by the way, November 17th against Niagara in a 108-101 victory. Gomez Jr. can't drill that triple meanwhile as it finds its way to Peters inside, yes. And all of a sudden, we're down to just 2 again.
Lambton's just capitalizing on the transition game.
Still more and more capitalization. Smart, wide open, airballs it directly to a wide open Laria for the rebound. Chuck down to Peters, behind the back pass, keeps the play alive. Behind the back, behind pass again, kept alive, still down low. Laria missing the shot.
Well, I believe it was deflected by
yes,
Nick Vagley.
Indeed.
How about that?
And the deflection there taps it out of bounds on what looked to be a reversal. We're going to stay here with fresh 14 on the shot clock. They say it hit the iron. Shot off the inbound, no good from Edwards. St. Clair chucks it down to Sykes. Sykes down the floor again inside. Jalen Sykes has been the main offensive source tonight. 17 first half points. Edwards rejected inside. Sykes coast to coast defense. Gomez Jr. draws a hard foul. Lambert Cador goes down as he's helped up by 2 teammates.
You know, it's interesting to see Lambton capitalizing on the transition game, but in the last couple of plays, St. Clair was able to get everybody involved.
And Lambert Cador going right to his bench, hobbling with the right ankle after the hard foul with Gomez Jr. That's the 13th foul, his first. So a second player now being checked by training staffs now for the Lions. Gomez Jr. gets the bounce. And Gomez Jr. came into tonight just under 30 points per game and deadly, whether it's inside or in the mid-range.
But he prefers to take it all the way to the hoop. That's one of the main reasons why his field goal percentage has been very high.
Stolen away by St. Clair again. Chance to get the run again. Gomez Jr. misses off the back rim. Picked up on the rebound. Tapped around. Still 2 minutes to go in the first half. Given right away. That time by Lambton.
Whoa.
Right to Gomez Jr. for the bucket.
Look at Gomez Jr. a la George Gervin. Did you see him go up in the air with the one hand, but he assured himself by putting it in both hands, and they just finished it off to the right.
That started off with a bad pass from Kelly. Kelly in the corner, watching the three bounce off the back rim. Tap back to Gomez Jr. on the rebound. Sizes back up and out. Down to Sykes again, and one! Count it! Jalen Sykes with 18 first half points. Make it 19.
Well, there you have it, folks. The transition's working out for St. Clair, and you usually don't see that until the start of the third quarter, but they realize that Lambton plays in a game of runs. Not necessarily a scoring run, but pace-wise. And they're being able to capitalize on that, making limited mistakes, and it ends off with Jalen Sykes, a perfect guy to put the ball in the hands.
And Sykes completes the N1. Make that now. Once again, 20 points. A dominant game for Sykes in the first half. Still 90 seconds to go in the first half. Joseph back into the game after being checked by the training staff a few minutes ago. Three, no good from the corner from Hagaduch. Here comes Gomez Jr. Driving in and contact, gets it. David Gomez Jr. again with a tough layup. Going coast to coast, Peters gets blocked by Smart. Mansour gets the board. Saints slow it down, a minute to go in the first half. Smart. Baseline away to Mansour. Gomez Jr. open, baseline. Pass back out. Sykes for the triple, no good. And that would have blown the Richter scale off this building's roof.
Oh boy, howdy.
The fans clapping their way for defense. Jump shot, Edwards is good. And that breaks up the run. What was near double-digit back uncontested points from St. Clair. Hard foul again. Joseph misses.
That had to be a foul. That knocked him right out of orbit.
Joseph still slow to get up, now up to his feet as the ball's tapped to the green curtain.
Journey Joseph has just been enrolled in the School of Hard Knocks lately. That should have been a foul on the other end.
And he's still asking about that on his side of the floor. We still stay on the Lions side of the court as Journey Joseph gets the pass. 18 seconds left in the first half. 1 second difference, shot clock and game clock. Edwards back and forth. Now Peters back out to Joseph. Joseph weaves his way to the pass outside. Reed, 5 on the shot clock. Draws the whistle before the shot, and we're going the other direction. That's a charge. They say Reed pushed off for the shot. Leaves 4.8 seconds left for the final shot of the half. St. Clair with a chance to grow this lead. Sykes takes it up. Clock rolls. Sykes with 2. Puts up the 3 for the buzzer. Yes, sir! Jalen Sykes with 23 first half points. And the St. Clair Saints lead 57-43. And one of their strongest home performances for a first half in 2018-19. We'll take a step aside. Halftime coverage coming right up next here on We Digital Productions.
We are resilient, often knocked down, but never backing down. You can spend your whole life on the outside looking in, or you can live it on the inside. Because that's where your passion lives. The drive to push beyond the naysayers, to find the fire that ignites your toughness. Because the truth is, winning always comes when you start from within.
The job market has changed, and I have to adapt. I'm not just getting theory, I'm getting skills. A degree isn't necessarily a pathway to their career. Being industry ready is. I choose to take control of my future, and my path is St. Clair College. I choose to be here.
Hi, I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Butcher goes down. Look front to Berman, drive the save. It's a nice shot to the save. And he's right in. Oh, and Joseph stops it behind the net. Marksman wipes it right in front, talking, shoots. Oh, and what a save.
You're watching We Digital.
Back to the Sportsplex. 57-43 is the score as the Saints are against the Lions here at halftime. I'm joined by one of the coaches of the Lambton Lions, Matt Roche. And Matt, that was a very fast second quarter to say the least, but you guys are stuck 14. What did you see out there?
Yeah, tough close to the quarter for us. Hit a big shot right there at the end to bring it up to 14. A little bit of foul trouble. We had to work some guys in and out of the lineup. Obviously, tough game for us, tough start to the game, but, we really haven't been able to get going yet, and we anticipate being able to get some guys going here in the second half.
You got guys going on like Tyrell Peters and Journey Joseph right there, and they've been able to finish off with some smart finishes. But the way this pace of the game is going, how are you able to contain the pace for your guys' favor?
Yeah, so actually the pace that the game's going right now is definitely, in our favor. We're a fast-paced, high-tempo team. We're one of the highest-scoring teams in the province right now. It's really just, it's going to come down to getting some defensive stops and not turning the ball over so much. That's really hurt us so far today.
Well, you know what? The one thing that I noticed about this Lambton Lions team this year, new look for them, and in addition, a brand new gym. 5-3 record at home. Yep. How big does that new facility help you guys out when it comes to home court advantage?
Definitely does help us out quite a bit. We're a young team full of first and second year players on our roster, so the comfortability of playing at home really helps. And as we go through the season, we continue to get more and more experienced, and those road victories will come soon enough.
What's going to be the keys for the second half?
Key to the second half, like I said earlier on, turnovers, limiting turnovers, and really being able to get out and finish in transition.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, Matt.
Thank you very much.
Matt Roach, the assistant head coach of the Lambton Lions. We'll have Matt Sykes here on the other side of this break.
I learn by doing. I learn by reacting to a situation. St. Clair puts me directly into my industry. I'm dealing with real patients, real life situations. It's not just theory, it's not book work anymore.
I choose to take control of my future and my path to St. Clair College. I choose to be here.
Now we have another Matt with us at the halftime show. Matt Sykes, the co-head coach for the St. Clair Saints. If you blink, you would miss a thing here in the first half, Matt. Describe what you've seen on the court.
It's a fast-paced game. We're both going back and forth. The first quarter, we were both really back and forth. They were playing good offense, and we were playing good offense. Not a lot of defense, but it's kind of, we're playing to our strength right now, scoring and running, moving the ball, getting the pace going. We're really controlling the pace right now, and we need to do that in the second half.
And you guys are controlling the rebounds and the fast-paced points, too, because you look at it, Jalen Sykes, 23 points at the moment. What was the key for him to become comfortable with this Lambton Lions squad, knowing this is a must-win game for you guys?
We told him to just not try to do too much, stick to his strengths, because he is one of the better shooters in the league. He's one of the better offensive players in the league, and we just told him don't do too much and calm down and stick to your strengths, and he's been unbelievable. So
that's right. He's among the top 10 OCAA scorers in this league right now. But how can the other players get involved?
Well, we got Gomez getting 15 right now. Nick Vagley's been chipping in. Juwan Lynch has 6 assists. Guys are rebounding the ball, or bigs are rebounding the ball. I think this half was probably one of our best halves of our season, and we've had a lot of guys really chip in here, and that's what's been happening.
Absolutely, and the changes you made to the lineups have been working real well, and that's why you guys are up 14. Yep. Thank you for your time, Matt. That's Matt Sykes, the co-head coach of the St. Clair Saints. We'll pause one more time, and we'll bring in Royal Church after this message.
Hi everybody, this is Tina Brigley, host of In and Out of Your Mind with Tina Brigley on WeTV. Join me and my guests while we explore ways to get out of your mind and into your life. Join us each and every week for a new show. Come see me here on WeTV.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor, Essex County, We Now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
All right, Royal Church joins
Hi,
me as we continue
I'm Josie,
halftime
and
here
I'm
on
your
We Digital. The Saints are up 57-43 against the Lambton Lions. And I think if you want to pay attention to this game real closely, I think you have to put the entire telecast in slow motion. What a fast first half for both of these clubs today.
Yes, it was, Aaron. It was a very fast first half. And I think the difference, the 14-point difference, of course, Jalen Sykes has 23 and David Gomez Jr. has 15. So St. Clair's scores are scoring, as they usually do. But the difference in the game is St. Clair's running the ball and playing a fast-paced game, but they're not making hardly any mistakes. They only have 3 turnovers, Aaron. 3 turnovers in a game like this with this kind of skill level is amazing. 3 turnovers and a half.
I was about to ask, with the way the pace of the game has been going, how are you able to contain those turnovers and limit all that altogether? Because like you said before, St. Clair is doing real well, but Lambton on the other end, they're on the losing end of it so far. So how can they be able to control the pace for the second half?
Well, Lambton has 10 turnovers, so that's more than 3 times what St. Clair has, so that makes a heck of a difference. I could describe Lambton as a team that's hurrying too much. You remember I gave you the little piece of paper with the be quick but don't hurry? Well, Lambton's hurrying. They're getting a little anxious. They're trying to do things a little too fast. Consequently, they're making mistakes, taking bad shots, getting themselves out of position, doing all kinds of things like that. And St. Clair's taking advantage of that, playing a very disciplined, highly quick, high-paced, fast-paced game, and they're doing a great job at it. And I credit the coaches for that. Matt Sykes and Brendan Sagan. This team has improved, Aaron. They're very improved, very much improved, because they're playing the kind of game that's helping them, and they're not making mistakes.
Well, remember, you can't make a lot of mistakes because they're on a 4-game losing streak, as many as you know. So those adjustments have been working real well so far. Nick Vagley got the start, and we're seeing him not scoring as much outside, but inside as well. And you see Glenn Willis-Paris, a lot of discipline on this young fella. He's really cracking down on the boards.
Yeah, St. Clair, I'm sure you've noticed, Aaron, they're not missing any easy shots, none. They made them all. However, Lambton is missing some shots, some easy shots, as well as turning the ball over and trying to do things a little quicker than they should, a little faster than they should.
And with addition to this, the final question, I asked the same thing to both of the coaches. How can you balance out the scoring, considering we have top scorers like Jalen Sykes?
Well, balance out the St. Clair scoring? Hard to do. Jalen's always going to be a high scorer. Gomez is always going to be a high scorer. The other players just have to play hard defense, rebound, and find a role to play on the floor.
Absolutely, and that's the story for our halftime show here on We Digital. At the half, the St. Clair Saints 57, the Lambton Lions 43. When we come back, we'll have the call of the second half. You're watching St. Clair Saints basketball on We Digital.
Hi, I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Shooting. Oh, Butcher goes down. Look front to Berg, drive, the save. Pass to the nice shot to the save. And he's right in. Oh, and Berg stops it behind the net. Horseman white side in front, pocket shoots. Oh, and what a save.
You're watching We Digital.
I learn by doing. I learn by reacting to a situation. St. Clair puts me directly into my industry. I'm dealing with real patients, real life situations. It's not just theory, it's not book work anymore.
I choose to take control of my future and my path to St. Clair College. I choose to be here.
Hi everybody, this is Tina Brigley, host of In and Out of Your Mind with Tina Brigley on WeTV. Join me and my guests while we explore ways to get out of your mind and into your life. Join us each and every week for a new show. Come see me here on WeTV.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor-Essex County, We Now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
Did you know that the most severe injuries in our region are motor vehicle crashes? 65% of road fatalities last year were directly the result of distracted driving. 90% of injuries arriving in our emergency rooms are preventable. Our message to you this summer is, put down the phone. Just drive. Let's work together to keep our trauma stretchers empty.
We are resilient, often knocked down, but never backing down. You can spend your whole life on the outside looking in, or you can live it on the inside. Because that's where your passion lives. The drive to push beyond the naysayers, to find the fire that ignites your toughness. Because the truth is, winning always comes when you start from within.
The job market has changed, and I have to adapt. I'm not just getting theory, I'm getting skills. A degree isn't necessarily a pathway to their career. Being industry ready is. I choose to take control of my future, and my path is St. Clair College. I choose to be here.
Welcome back, everyone, to Windsor, Ontario for more coverage of OCAA men's basketball on We Digital Productions. Justin Prince alongside Aaron Sanders as the St. Clair Saints lead by their largest margin of the game, 14 points, 57-43. Take a look at the stats at halftime. After halftime here, Saints shooting even 50% so far. Able to take a big-time lead, plus 12 in the quarter.
Yeah, the majority of those shots are coming right down to the basket. The highest accurate shots is when you go right down low. You take a look at the three-point field goals, too. 42% for Lambton. That's good. 31% for St. Clair. That's all right. But the points in the paint is a major difference. St. Clair with 32 points, 32 of their 57, and Lambton has 16. So I guess that has to say a whole lot about how this game is going.
You know what also says a whole lot? The steals. So far, 8 steals forced by the Saints, leading to 11 points off turnovers. That is all but just one of the turnovers from Niagara, and part of how they've been able to basically control the momentum, get that giant run where there's just 2 points scored in about the final 4 minutes from the Lions for the Saints to take over. The question is, though, how do they take the second half, Aaron?
Well, you know what? I'm going to answer that for both teams. If you're St. Clair, you have to keep on playing with that same pace. Because you know, around this time, JP, St. Clair cools their jets and they fall a little bit asleep on the defense. So they got to keep things going. Jalen Sykes has been having a doozy of a ball game right now. You keep on referring to him. You got to get Glenn Willis-Paris involved, because once you get somebody to challenge him on the defensive end, who knows how powerful that 1-2 punch may be on the transition. If you're Lambton, however, limit those turnovers. It's good to be unselfish with the ball, but if nobody's ready for those passes, then that's going to cost you down in the fast break.
Saints have first possession of the second half as they start with a lineup of Gomez Jr. along with Jelon Lynch, Willis-Paris, Sykes, Vegley, the 5. Willis-Paris goes in for the quick pick and roll around to Vegley. Wide open Sykes. Can he add more points? No. Good look. Had 23 in that first half. Couldn't make his first shot from the field in the second half.
But the one thing I'm seeing is Nick Vegley's cutting down and getting those good looks.
And also a contested look made by Edwards. So the Lions on the board with their first shot of the second half. Just 30 seconds into the third quarter here on We Digital Productions. Justin Prince alongside Aaron Sanders. The St. Clair Saints trying to break a 4-game losing streak entering tonight, while the Lions trying to start a winning streak. As the layup inside, it's good from Gomez Jr.
And that's going to give him 17 points for the evening as he gets that teardrop to fall.
And the defense pulls a Houdini as Peters runs the baseline for the bucket.
Once again, when you fall asleep on the defense, that just allows your opponent just to drive down with ease.
And you mentioned some of the scoring from Gomez Jr., and we talked about Sykes. That was the 1-2 punch in the first half from the St. Clair Saints. Well, was Paris missing in the low post meanwhile. Edwards finds its way to Peters. Peters slows it back on down as they swing the ball around the perimeter. Lambton trails by 12 to St. Clair. Driving inside, getting the bucket. Once again, Joseph.
You know what? He had enough hops, but he was able to double pump on that shot, which is pretty hard to do. But he said, no problem. I'm going to get through my defenders one way or another.
And Joseph with double-digit points, helping deflect that shot as Peters gets the board. Here comes the rush. Area goes on up, draws the whistle before the pass on the floor. He'll be inbounded down the baseline.
They're saying the basket counts. We're going to have to see a replay of this.
And Joseph is standing already on the baseline.
I'm confused because I thought the foul was on the floor. And it is on the floor.
59-51 now with the basket counting. Lions get to keep possession. Ball heads to the scorer's table with still 11 on the shot clock. About 2 minutes into this third quarter here. Lined up on the floor for the Lions. Edwards alongside Peters. Also lined up with Joseph rounding the five. Jesus around the lineup. Once again, Loria picked up by Lynch on the board. Lynch trying to charge up with a head of steam. Runs into Joseph. Sykes open. Drives in, knocks a second player down, draws the charge.
You have to be careful with those plays. You got a couple of guys down and they did not blow the whistle dead. That could have been trouble.
And you'll see the replay here, what caused the charge. First collision there, then the second one hard there.
Well, good charge from Journey Joseph, but you have to understand, when you have a collision right down on the floor, everybody has to be careful.
And that's Sykes' third personal of this game so far. First team, already just one team foul for the Saints. Davis coming into the game now for Sykes. It's Jalen Sykes now in potential foul trouble here early in the third, Aaron.
You got to be careful, too. One of the leading scorers, if they get in the foul trouble, you're going to have to be the next man up. Somebody has to step up. We see David Gomez Jr. with 17, Jalen Sykes with 23. The question is, who can step up and start some sort of balanced scoring for St. Clair if Sykes does go out?
It's not about numbers in times. It's about spacing when it comes to offensive production. That time, no spacing leads to the missed bucket. Gomez Jr. charges in, draws the whistle, and this is going to be the first personal for the Lions in the quarter. Laria called for the foul. That is his second personal. Saints with 16 still on the shot clock as it's stolen away but tapped out. Saints keep possession. They get 14 seconds now on the shot clock.
I'm telling you, Keith Leary has been doing everything on the court today, intercepting the passes, making sure he creates space on the offense. It's been working good for him.
Willis Paris to the hoop, misses. Picked up on the board by Edwards. Edwards swings it off. Laria tries to go coast to coast. No. And he'll get the bunny ears to go to the line to shoot for two. So far tonight, 2 for 3 for the stripe is Laria so far. As you've seen at the halftime stats, 11 for 15 was Lambton in that first half on the free throw line. Lambton, as mentioned, second in the OCAA in free throws as a team and continuing to show some of that efficiency tonight.
But keep in mind, the guy that's been very efficient to me today, Keith Laria.
Laria makes the bucket, and now, guess what? A game of runs turns to an 11-2 run now for the Lions. Lions control momentum 3 minutes into the third quarter. Vegley, wide open lane, gets the lucky bounce. Nearly rolled over top the front of the bucket.
And you would think with his shot going off balance, it might go off the right side, but he maintained his control.
Joseph stripped away. Either way, drawing the whistle. As coming back onto the floor is Sykes. Coming in for Nick Vegley to have a change of pace here. So an 8-point lead now for the Saints. Peters swings it off to Edwards. Edwards sizes up inside. Driving right into the traffic. No good on the layup. Peters on the shot. Davis out to Lynch. And they say out of bounds. And they might have a case here for them to keep possession. That looked like it just bounced inside the green line. From our angle here down the scores table.
You know, that's a big issue. You got that big, thick green line. It's a pretty hard thing to call.
Either way, Lions force the turnover on the stat sheet. Joseph, having a ball of a day on the stat sheet, gets the layup.
And it's been his bread and butter throughout the whole night. That's been getting him the full stats. Driving right to the basket and finishing real strong.
And he leads his team in scoring, 15 points off the bench. Davis out to Sykes. Sykes draws the whistle on Joseph. Joseph immediately claims his second team foul of the quarter. Smart will come back into the game now. He'll come in for Willis Paris.
You know, Ian Smart has been having a quiet night compared to his usual 9 points and 7 rebounds a game.
Pointing up the shot, meanwhile, Davis. And Davis, very quiet tonight off the bench. Of course, has started majority of the games this season as Peters nearly loses the dribble. Gomez Jr. catches the high-up pass. Alley-oop to Sykes, deflected away to Lynch. Lynch to Sykes, baseline, yes!
Just an easy look. Juwan Lynch just bringing up the double team to their attention, and that just left Sykes to pop up to the side and pull up the J.
Just one of his first points of the second half, mind you. First made shot, in fact. Davis got the rebound. Sykes trying to wake up offensively as he goes into the lane.
Now isn't that beautiful? He was able to get the Euro step and finish it off with the left hand.
And the Saints bring a run right on back to pull up to double-digit points. 14-8 is the advantage in the third quarter. 67-55 the score here in the third. So far, here, Aaron. Of course, if you're a fan of hoops here in Windsor-Essex County, why don't you tune in to the Windsor Express Basketball Review every week on We Digital with head coach Bill Jones. The Windsor Express, of course, on a hot streak entering this week as well.
And you know
to tune in, watch We Digital and Facebook Live to catch up with the Windsor Express in the National Basketball League of Canada. Aaron?
And like I said, you mentioned the hot streak, winners of 6 in a row. This is their third longest winning streak in franchise history, and they had to do it the hard way against the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans last night, 138-134. Juan Patil, big man, 40 points, 8 rebounds to his name.
As mentioned during the women's game, possible game of the week candidate, possible game of the year candidate in the NBLC this season. But to swing the focus back to here, the Saints having a much-needed charge again to start off this third quarter, now leading 67-55.
And you know what? They're getting everybody involved. We're seeing Nick Vagley get good looks and try to find good looks to pass it to somebody. On the other end, we haven't seen guys like Ian Smart get involved, but the story has been Jalen Sykes, 27 points.
And Sykes, 11 of 18 from the field as well. But mentioning assists, Lynch has been the one having a majority of the assists tonight for St. Clair.
And you know what? In addition to helping out on the offensive end, he's helping out on the defense as well.
And remember, this is a Saints team that came in third in the OCAA rather, as the foul's called on the layup. Laria going to go to the stripe. Chance to bring it back down to 10. He's got 8 in this game. And that's going to be the 4th personal. Next foul puts the Lions in the bonus for the final half of the third. Makes the first of 2 here in this one. After today's matchup, the Lions go back home for 4 straight games to take on the University of Toronto, Mississauga, Redeemer, and then Fanshawe. Pardon me, that is 3. Then Mohawk back on the road for the final game on the schedule, as now Vagley comes back in with the stoppage. Once again, trying to get above 500 before that final 4-game stint. Into the corner. The shot. It's got it. Nick Vagley.
And you know that shot was going to go in the moment he let that ball away from his fingertips.
Zone press from St. Clair at half court. Draws the 8-second violation. St. Clair gets the possession once again. And another forced turnover here in this third quarter. The wheels are coming off. If you're a Lambton Lions fan, lots to worry about in this quarter here, Aaron. Davis, contested jumper, yes.
In addition to that, when you give somebody a good look right back, you have to make major adjustments. Ball goes the other way.
Bullet pass down low. Contested layup is good. Luria. They're giving them something they need there, up to 12. However, still a 13-point advantage with 4:10 to go in the quarter. Lined up for the Saints, Lynch, Vaguely, Smart, Gomez Jr., Davis. Gomez Jr. with 6 on the shot clock. Weaving in and out. To the right side of the lane, yes. And all of a sudden, everything is falling here in this third.
Everything's coming up roses as David Gomez Jr. gets that easy jumper from the side.
Deflected away by Lynch. Lions keep possession. And that was something they needed. They said they needed more intensity defensively. Some of the coaches, I should say, prior to today's game, and Coach Deegan and Coach Skikes, rather, yes. And we've seen that intensity. They're able to force the miss on the contested shot. Peters finds Joseph. Joseph finds the back door, and foul on the right hand.
You know, Nick Vaguely isn't happy with that, but you know what? That's a very good foul. A challenging foul, to say the least. He tried to attack the basket as Laria tried to go in for the one-hand slam. That's just a good look for Nick Vaguely. You shouldn't be discouraged about that attempt.
Vaguely off to the bench with the foul. And into the bonus goes Lambton for the next 3 minutes and 28 seconds. Kelly back into the game. Also, we see the first time Tyler Grievers, who misses the second free throw misses, trying to fight for the rebound. Grievers, as you've seen, down low. Gomez Jr. matched up with Joseph once again, trying to charge on by, drawing a whistle. He'll be inbound down the baseline with 13 still on the shot clock. Resets to 14. But St. Clair's, again, just had the kind of game they really needed so far tonight, outclassing the Lions in the second half so far. The thing is, remember, there was a collapse in the fourth quarter that secured the game for the Lions last time these two teams played.
And that's been very often for St. Clair. They just let down on defense, and they can't find good shots to go.
Lynch draws the foul, and he'll go to the line to shoot 3. And DeLon Lynch with the hard contact on the triple to try and beat the buzzer.
Well, isn't this interesting? You know, majority of those fouls would usually be on the opponents, and they go to the line to shoot 3 free throws. But Jawan Lynch this time finally said, time to give them the taste of their own medicine. He just spots up as he misses the first free throw.
And you might notice on the upper left part of the jerseys today for the Saints community lost a huge member of its baseball community, including for Windsor-Essex County overall, Bernie Chico LaBute passing away this past week, unfortunately, here.
And you know what? He was very active with the St. Clair community in baseball and basketball, but again, a lot of people remember he was a good baseball player back in his day, and he was able to help out the St. Clair Green Giants in their 2 seasons. We had a lot of good times interviewing him before we went on the air with We Digital for Green Giants telecast. He's going to be sorely missed, a really great character.
Right now wearing patches on the left side for the women's and men's basketball teams are the Saints in memory of Chico LaBute. This one tapped around to Smart for the rebound meanwhile. Gomez Jr. slows back down the pace, drives it back into a brick wall, and draws the whistle. And that will put St. Clair into the bonus. Ran to a brick wall wedge, basically, just towards the paint. And now they say offensive foul, in fact, actually.
But you gotta like the reaction after St. Clair was pinned with that offensive foul. It's just poised. They're not arguing on the foul, even though their co-head coach is. But a lot of composure on these players, and those were one of the changes that Sykes and Seeger were talking about before tonight's game.
Indeed, for sure. Reed, indeed, Lee gets a layup. Still a 14-point lead for St. Clair. And St. Clair continue to have a lot of positive, again, swing back to this way a couple times, a lot of offensive positives. That time, almost a negative is a negative. And the commentator's curse leads to the scramble on the other side. Saints able to deflect the multiple opportunities that time. Slowly taking on Davis. Back to Lynch. Mansour slows the pace. Pass to Smart. Doesn't even go near him. Way off on the pass, yeah. As now that substitution coming out. Smart comes out of the game with the stoppage. Howard comes back in.
He was very active in the first half, and I think that's one of the main reasons they made that substitution. If he could get active on the board, then St. Clair could have opened this lead up much more.
And Lambton tried to bring the intensity to wake up their bench. Kelly's alley-oop goes off to the corner instead. So another turnover, 14th for Lambton in the game. Gomez Jr. gives away a turnover there. Wide open, Peters for the left-hand layup, can't make it! Second chance misses, third chance finally comes in. Two questions. How do you miss a wide open layup? Two, where's the box out?
Well, you know what? I can't say anything because we've seen the same thing from the women's game early on. That's just Heartbreak City, but good for them to get it on the third try.
And Coach Sagan was wondering where was the rebounders. Lynch says there's the triple as that wakes back up the crowd to bring it back to 15 under a minute to go.
Boy, howdy, they're on par of averaging 88 points this game.
And that, mind you, is their mark on the season, 9th in the OCAA. Reed finds Peters. Peters hugged by once again for the foul. Draws the N1 after the hug coming from Ali Mansour. And a couple players having words. Being broken up by some of the officials here. We'll see why.
Well, look at that cross-court pass right there. And then the hesitation. And then Reed, he felt like he got hugged on that play.
Actually, that was Peters who got hugged before the N1.
So Reed was pleading that case. But either way, they're going to the free throw line to get the three-point play done.
And Peters, once again, one of the top scorers in the OCAA, the top scorer for Lambton, to the line so far tonight. Just 14 points, still with two now with the N1 in the quarter. Lynch, Boyd pass. Ball says hello to its teammates as it will say Saints possession, 18 on the shot clock. 31.5 seconds to go in the third quarter here on We Digital. Howard to the double team, draws the foul, and now he'll get to the line to shoot two.
The one thing that's underrated about TJ Howard is his footwork. We've seen it down there in the previous play. He doesn't hesitate just to get the defenders off their feet.
And the fans trying to guard the yard here. Howard with a chance to bring it back to 15. And the first free throw rolls out. Howard, a 54% free throw shooter on the campaign. 1 for 2 on his prior trip as Mansour moves down low. 26.9 seconds left in the quarter as Howard drills the second. Quick pace coming from the Lambton College Lions. Peters draws the whistle from behind, and he'll go to the line to shoot for two with the Lambton in the bonus. So a chance to go up to 3 points in the quarter. Lynch trying to go for the reach. And you might hear in the backdrop a silly foul on the lightning quick play. And Peters drills the first of two. Of course, as we talked about, some possible recruits for St. Clair in attendance for the women's game earlier. One recruit already signed by this Lambton College group from the Wallaceburg area by coincidence. We'll get to that point in the fourth quarter because shot clock difference is half a second here in this third.
You can see St. Clair just slowing things down, looking for the final shot. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for a long bomb to close out the third quarter like they did the second.
6 seconds to go in the third. Howard deflected around, still bounces off the rim. Can't beat the buzzer or multiple players. Peters misses the behind the back trick shot after the buzzer. Either way, St. Clair still holds on to an 80-68 lead. How will they do for the final 10 minutes? We'll find out in just a few moments. You're watching We Digital Productions for OCAA men's basketball action.
Adam.
Hi, I'm Curtis Joseph, former NHL goalie.
Butcher goes down. Look front to Berman, drive the save. Pass to the nice shot to the save. And he's right in. Oh, and Kirsten stops it behind the net. Marksman white side in front, talking, shoots. Oh, and what a save!
You're watching We Digital.
I learn by doing. I learn by reacting to a situation. St. Clair puts me directly into my industry. I'm dealing with real patients, real life situations. It's not just theory, it's not book work anymore.
I choose to take control of my future, and my path is St. Clair College. I choose to be here.
Hi everybody, this is Tina Brigley, host of In and Out of Your Mind with Tina Brigley on WeTV. Join me and my guests while we explore ways to get out of your mind and into your life. Join us each and every week for a new show. Come see me here on WeTV.
Welcome back, everyone, to We Digital production coverage, of OCAA men's basketball for the start of the fourth quarter. As you see, our great crew working to get the best shots possible here. The Saints had a lot of great shots themselves in that third quarter era.
I mean, you can't believe how many shots they made that win in. A lot of people becoming more involved into this on the floor right now. Juwan Lynch with 10. David Gomez Jr. with 9. 5 points for Ali Mansour. But again, the leading man is Jalen Sykes for the evening.
19 for Gomez Jr., but right point nonetheless. Edwards, meanwhile, for the jump shot, yes! Gets the 2. Brings it down to 80-70 to start off the quarter.
You bring up that separation, and that allows you to take the shot without any complications. Again, blocked.
Lynch around to Dylan Davis. Back to Juwan Lynch. Back and forth they go. Davis to the hoop. Rejected inside. Still picks up the dribble. Back out to Lynch. 3 on the shot clock. Lynch trying to draw the foul. Airballs it instead. Rebound picked up by Joseph. And Joseph slows it back on down for Edwards to try and drive. Stripped away. Ball might have touched the leg of Howard. David Gomez Jr. will stroll his way to the free throw line. And David Gomez Jr. drawing the contact on Joseph. And for Joseph, that is his 4th personal.
Interestingly enough, the pace hasn't changed that much for the game. It's been all St. Clair since the beginning, but again, when you have Joseph that picks up his 4th foul, that's very crucial because he's the guy that could usually lead in to finish strong to the basket. You don't need those fouls right now.
Gomez Jr. missed the first of 2 so far. St. Clair before that trip to the line. 69% on the game for free throws. 3 of 5 in that third. They start off 1 for 2 for this 4th. 1 minute into the fourth quarter here on We Digital Productions. Justin Prince alongside Aaron Sanders. St. Clair Saints men's basketball team leads over the Lambton Lions 81-70. Drive inside, down low, find his way to Peters. And Tyval Peters making the contested layup. He's up to 20 points now, the 3rd player in this game up to that mark. Gomez Jr. finds his way to Howard. Howard, baseline, no. Picked up on the rebound by Reed. Edwards will take it back up at the point guard spot. Tries to cut for coast to coast, yes!
Again, something that's been working for the Lambton Lions the entire game. The ability to create just enough space just to drive near to the basket and finish real good.
And would you believe that's just the 4th made shot rather for Edwards the entire ball game, as well as Paris and Sykes come in for St. Clair?
Well, I wouldn't believe it because, you know, the way this game is going, it's a matter of players coming right out of the blue and just taking care of business. But now we have a timeout on the floor.
Timeout called St. Clair. Still have 2 remaining each side here in the second half here on We Digital Productions. 81-75 to score. A quick burst of points. Let's take a look at your live stats here in this fourth quarter. you can see a few different stats. One stat kind of stands out the most, and that's the bench points, in part because of Journey Smith's strong performance, 17 coming out of the third quarter.
Well, keep in mind, Journey Joseph's ability to make shots for himself is phenomenal. So he's the majority of those bench points. But as you look at the second chance points, points to the paint, and the fast break baskets as well, all a +6 for wins for the St. Clair Saints, but pretty close.
You know something too? That was half. The Lambton Lions had half as many points in that first half in points in the paint. We talked about a bit during the halftime stats. Lambton's changed their strategy to go more inside than go outside, and it seems to be working.
Well, keep in mind, when you have scorers like Jalen Sykes, who has no alternative options but to go down the basket, you have to answer that on the offensive end. The question is, how do you contain him?
That's going to be the question. So far, 27 for Sykes tonight, 20 for Gomez, 20 for Peters, meanwhile, for the Lions, 17 for Joseph for their side. Maria also has 15, Edwards 11. Has 8:24 to go in the fourth quarter. Coaching staff for the Lions saying hands up on defense. Willis Paris runs through one of those hands. Lynch gives it off to Sykes. Sykes, the corner triple. Off the rim, no good. Tap back out of bounds. Lions keep possession. Lions have a full 24 seconds to work with up the dribble. Edwards lined up with Peters. Also lined up on the floor right now with Reed. Rounding out the 5. Once again, Joseph along with Hedgedush. Hedgedush taps it out. Hooked out once again. Ali Mansour with the rebound, finding Sykes. Down the baseline, yes! And one. Count. Now they say charge.
They'll count the basket, but it's going to be an offensive foul on Jalen Sykes.
That is exactly what's being clarified right now by the referees. Today's referees, again, as mentioned during the first, Kevin Greenwood, Brendan Tinley, Scott Ryder. So it looks like the foul.
The foul will be on Jalen Sykes.
Yes.
They signaled 23, but Glenn Willis Paris isn't on the floor at the present time, so he meant Jalen Sykes.
That's what they're clarifying right now with the scorer's table right now for the proper foul here on the drive. And that's the reason for the stoppage here. They signaled that there. Currently, both co-head coaches are trying to plead their case. But either way, referees have the final say. Zone press for St. Clair. Pass right over top of few Lions. Here comes St. Clair again. Gomez, Jr. right hand, yes.
You talk about beating your opponent, that Euro step will get him every time. Turnover.
And a second straight turnover, second straight time going to Hagedusht on the pass up the floor. We'll see if that's exactly the case here. As now, Laria comes back onto the floor. Hagedusht coming out. They say it is touched by a St. Clair Saint, but that substitution was to be seen. Pass back out to Peters. Putting up the shot, no good. Tapped off of Mansour, kept alive. Picked up by Mansour. Mansour type flaps the sideline. DeVagley misses.
DeVagley has to finish strong right there. He was a little bit worried of getting blocked. Another turnover.
And 3 straight turnovers, and this time, Loria running straight up to the referees. Loria is still trying to plead his case. Either way, St. Clair possession. 7:14 to go. They lead by 10. And all of a sudden, it's starting to look like all the momentum gone from Lambton's side. Vagley gives it all to St. Clair. Timeout once again called. Second to last timeout for Lambton. Nick Vagley with now 15 points in his first start of 2019's calendar year.
Well, keep in mind, too, he had a really good outing. Well, not a very good outing, but the guy averages 6 points. That's going to skyrocket by the end of tonight.
Hear ye, meanwhile. Slay the dreaded foe. The Windsor Spitfires take on the London Knights this Thursday, January the 24th, in a 4-run rivalry tilt. Puck drop set for 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Tickets are still available either online at WFCU-center.com, in person at the box office, or on the phone at 519-254-5000, extension 1. You're looking at the coaching staff for the Lambton Lions. Their team trails by 13 after the triple scored by Nick Vangley, and 3 straight turnovers from the Lambton Lions. Absolutely falling apart all of a sudden in the past minute and a half.
Yeah, that's a major issue you have to take care of, but if I was Lambton, you have to stay poised. They're getting a little bit frustrated. They wanted calls to go their way, but that's not going to happen. The best way to redeem yourself is just swing the ball around. Try to get Journey Joseph more involved into the game, because remember, he had a hot first half. So you have to keep your composure and make sure everybody gets involved with the ball and score the quickest and closest basket as you can.
Back on the way after the timeout. Currently just a +1 advantage for the Saints in the terms of scoring in the quarter. However, all the momentum shifted their way as the N1's drawn. Willis Paris called for the foul. Laria able to get him on the pump. They say no basket now. Willis Paris with the foul. Scoreboard shows 88-77 as you see on the bottom side.
It's going to be Glenn Willis Paris' 4th foul of the evening.
Yes. As now Lariat makes the bucket. Brings it down to 10, and Willis Paris in foul trouble after making the start tonight.
That's something St. Clair don't need to happen, because he makes up for the majority of the depth along with Jalen Sykes.
Nick Vagley also with 4 fouls, both of them being put into the starting 5 for the Saints tonight after being coming off the bench majority of the year. Lynch drives right into the lane. He'll go to the line and try and add 2 free throws. Turn the body sideways to draw the contact. Well, drawing the contact rather.
And keep in mind, as long as you're still moving, you're going to be called for that foul. You have to plant your feet, and you have to maintain your structure right down near the basket. You even turn around an inch, you're going to get the foul.
Indeed, Lynch drains the first of 2. Saints 11 of 16 for the stripe on the game. Lynch 3 of 4, now make it 4 of 5 rather. A double-double tonight as well with this trip. Now 12 points, 10 assists tonight for Jelon Lynch.
This has got to be one of his finest games of the season. Good old well-seasoned veteran for St. Clair.
Of course, Lynch has talked about a couple times, 19th in steals last year. Whistle called on the floor. As a couple Boo Birds come out, foul called on the push. This foul going against St. Clair, already 4 personals. And this is going to be Vagley's 5th. Vagley's done. So Nick Vagley's fouled out of the game. Next foul puts Lambton into the bonus for the rest of the 4th.
They're going to confirm this at the scores table to see how everything's laid out. The scoreboard has Vagley as fouled out with 5. But Brandon Segan pleading his case to one of the referees.
You know something? They might actually have a case here. For those curious, in terms of OUA.com, they keep live stats on the website via Presto Sports. As well, for the box scores at the end of the quarter, Vagley had 3 fouls at the end of the 3rd. Now they're going to go back in. It looks they're going to say it is the foul out. Or at the very least, Davis comes in. Clarification given to Coach Segan on the foul, meanwhile. 90-78 still the score.
Either way, despite Vagley fouling out, he had a heck of a game tonight.
Reed misses the shot, meanwhile, off the inbound. Peters has the smart IQ to laser it off of Gomez Jr.'s foot. He'll stay Lambton possession with a fresh 14. And that's what you kind of have to do as a player. In those kind of situations, be aware of who's guarding you, and if you're on the tightrope of the sideline, tap it off of the opposer, the defender. 7 on the shot clock. Whistle called again. And this time, it puts Lambton to the bonus, if this is indeed the case for the same foul.
And keep in mind, Lambton's in the bonus, and we're not even halfway into the 4th.
Foul called against Gomez Jr., his 2nd. So Lambton is in the bonus for the remainder of the 4th quarter. So all of a sudden, the fouls have started building up like crazy in this game. To mention the players in foul trouble, Vagley done for the night, fouled out with 5, official now. Sykes with 4 fouls, 4 for Willis Paris, 3 for Ali Mansour, 2 Gomez Jr. and Dalen Davis, 1 for TJ Albert. And for Coach Segan, as you see him on that bench along with Coach Sykes, some worried faces here with multiple players in trouble. Second free throw makes. 1 for 2 at the stripe this time.
And right now, St. Clair has to find somebody that could be efficient scorer, but they can't do that if they don't pay attention to the ball.
Nearly stripped away as they keep possession, St. Clair does. As Gomez Jr. will go for the inbound. Willis Paris is on the floor right now for St. Clair. Cutting coast to coast, Lynch misses the layup.
Heartbreak City, because he's been getting those shots to go easily tonight.
Coast to coast in response, deflected out of bounds. And now, flip that possession arrow upside down. St. Clair gets possession. Full court trap now from Lambton. Gomez Jr. pushed off Peters, loses the dribble. Stolen away again by Lambton. And St. Clair is now falling apart. Joseph putting up the jump shot now. Laria makes it. And Lambton starting to take back the momentum. So a 9-point lead for St. Clair, 5:24 to go in regulation. Mansour, Gomez Jr. with a bucket, yes! Count it!
Yeah, I was about to say they have no choice but to call that. He was able to take control of the contact, double pumped, leaned right in, and just flipped it off.
David Gomez now with 24 on the game. And he'll shoot 1. Substitution coming in once again. Danish Hagedouche coming back in. And that is 5 as well for one of the Lambton players as well. 5 fouls now on the play.
And you know what? He's my player of the game for Lambton tonight. He's been able to do everything.
To clarify, it was Keith Laria who has just fouled out of this game, the leading scorer of the game today for Lambton. Edwards makes it. And Edwards, ice cold for the past 6+ minutes, 16 rather, as well as Paris misses the chance inside. Tries to charge for the rebound, picked up by Edwards either way. Whistle called once again, and now Lambton will stroll their way to the free throw line to shoot 2. Another St. Clair foul on that one. And this is going to be Ali Mansour, his 4th.
And, you know, Mansour, he doesn't foul unless if it's necessary.
And that one, did you feel that was necessary, Aaron?
I didn't think it was necessary. I think it was all frustration because remember, those second and third chance opportunities down at the basket, you had to find some way to stop Lambton because they're on a scoring surge right now as they cut the lead to 2 possessions.
Edwards brings it down to 92-86 the score, 4:50 to go. Lambton +4 in the quarter. Gomez Jr. spinning jump shot misses. Reed picks up the board this time. Reed, one of the top rebounders for the team, watches as Joseph has it knocked out of bounds. And they say Saints basketball. Joseph wants the foul.
I'm confused.
Will they change
I'm confused at that play.
Yes, they do. They've changed it. Substitution, Smart comes in. It looks like Coach Brandon Segan wants a timeout, gets the timeout as Willis Paris goes off the floor. Timeout St. Clair, under 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, 6-point game. An absolute thrower of a matchup here on WeTV, and there could be potential for more throwers this Saturday, January the 26th. That's the next broadcast for We Digital Productions as Saints basketball sees the University of Toronto Mississauga Eagles come into town. Ladies start at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, men at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Once again, afterwards, the next broadcast afterward as well is Sunday, January the 27th. It's volleyball action. Ladies at 2 p.m., men at 4 p.m. as the Conestoga Condors look to try and get some victories over the St. Clair Saints.
Keep in mind the ladies Saints have been red hot ever since the start of the season. 11-1, second in Ontario. They're looking to expand that streak. And as for the men's team, they're trying to get victories before the end of the year.
Indeed, right now, lots to watch for that Saturday and Sunday game weekend. Basketball Saturday, volleyball Sunday here on We Digital Productions. You can catch that on WeDigital.ca. Timeouts finishing up here. 6-point game all of a sudden here because of the run now by the Lambton Lions. They control just about all the momentum all of a sudden with 4:34 to go.
And you know what? It was a fast-paced fourth quarter, and they worked in their favor. This was the collapse we talked about for St. Clair.
Edwards finds the pass down low. Juice gets it to go.
Smart just got beat right off the pump fake. There's nothing you could do right there.
Zone press broken off now for the Lions as Mansour sets up at the point guard spot. Back to Gomez Jr. 12 on the shot clock. Takes the charge up by Peters. Drawing the whistle is Reed. Reed called for the foul. Gomez Jr. will stroll his way to the charity stripe. And Reed trying to plead his case as well in this one, his third personal. 14 foul for Lambton. And some more huge free throws here with 4:20 to go. St. Clair, 12 of 18 as a team tonight.
And you see David Gomez, 24 points tonight.
Along with 1 for 3 from the stripe, making now 2 for 4. Of course, Gomez Jr. entered this game's matchup 5th in free throw percentage in the OCAA.
Keep in mind, one of the leading scorers, too, as he knocks down both free throws. 6-point game. Something has to give. St. Clair has to make a massive stop and make sure cooler heads prevail.
Boomsticks rattling at parts of the stadium here at the St. Clair College Sportsplex. Edwards back to Peters. Peters outside. Back to Joseph. Joseph, jump shot, yes!
You can see there, Jawan Lynch got bopped in the mouth during that cut.
And Lynch able to shake it off, it appears, as Gomez Jr. dribbles it. Reading up. Steps over Edwards. Can't make the contested 3. Journey grabs another rebound. That's his 5th on the game. Down low, Peters misses the contested shot. Lynch able to grab a one-handed rebound on the deflection, his 4th rebound. As Sykes to get on the score sheet in the 4th, yes! And Sykes quiet in the 4th because of foul trouble, able to get up to 31 points. Make it now, yes, 31 points.
So keep in mind, if it isn't Gomez Jr. putting up 30 points, it's Jalen Sykes.
Chance for both of them to do so tonight. Edwards misses. Gomez Jr. trying to separate his way away from the Lambton defense. Lambton unable to force the 8-second violation. Baseline jumper, Sykes, too long. Picked up on the rebound once again by Juice. Joseph off to go once again Peters. Peters in traffic. Shot forced to miss by Smart. Sykes will just slow it back on down. 2:30 to go in the 4th. And at this point, it looks like they're trying to slow it down until 8 seconds on the clock.
As long as they eat up the clock, they'll have enough opportunities to limit Lambton's possessions. 4 on the shot clock.
Davis for 3. No. Joseph chases down a 2nd straight board. And Edwards will take it up for Lambton. Peters back to Edwards. Able to separate away from Gomez. Jr. misses. Joseph, 2nd chance 3. Yes, indeed!
And this is what happens when you lose your assignment outside beyond the arc. You're too clustered inside the mid-range. You have to spread out.
Gomez Jr. gets Lambton's players to cluster 4 in a group. Out to Lynch. Lynch hands it off to Edwards. Here comes Peters. Coast to coast, yes! It's a 1-point game and a 5-point swing. St. Clair slowing down the possession. Under 1:40 to go in the 4th.
If Lambton scores another one, I say Brandon Seekin has to call a timeout. It's been going Lambton's way the entire 4th.
1 timeout remaining for each side with under 90 seconds to go in regulation. Gomez Jr. waltzes through traffic, yes! David Gomez Jr. makes it a 3-point game. Still defense being shouted upon. Edwards guarded tightly. Driving in Reed, out to Peters. Finds his way through 2 defenders, draws the whistle.
Yep, that's a foul.
And
that
Davis is the one with the foul. And now Peters with the biggest trip of the night tonight. Ali Mansour comes in for Dallin Davis. So now you have 3 Saints players with 4 fouls on the floor. Sykes, Lewis Paris, along with Mansour. Peters trails the first.
The way you look at it, you see those guys in foul trouble. Mansour could be the guy that could take care of business off the ball. Jalen Sykes, the guy to box out. Same with Glenn Willis-Paris. But they have to be careful on how they use their hands and how they position themselves.
Second free throw's good. Back to a 1-point game. Full court press from the Lambton Lions. 1 minute to go in the fourth as Gomez Jr. able to take it up to the front court. Chargers in and out. Back to Sykes. Steps on the line for a huge turnover.
Cardinal mistake. You have to watch your feet when you're driving. You gain all that momentum getting that handoff pass. You just lose attention from the right side and it just carries you. That momentum just carries you.
Smart back onto the floor. Mansour out. Swinging the ball, Joseph finding Reed. Back to Joseph. 38 seconds left. Joseph steps back. The jump shot. Yes, sir! And Joseph gives Lambton their first lead of the half.
The first lead since 4:55 in the first quarter.
Smart, meanwhile, coast to coast misses the layup. Picked up Lambton. St. Clair goes to the intentional foul. Lynch with a foul. That's his 4th personal.
That's brutal.
Absolute collapse.
That is brutal. To be honest with you, he got robbed right down to the basket. Ian Smart was able to go in with it, and they knew Lambton was leaning in right for the foul. That should have been called.
Mansour coming into the game now for St. Clair for Willis-Paris as they bring in all offense now. Sykes to the power forward spot. Smart to the big man spot at center. To the line to shoot to Cardon Edwards. Coming into tonight, an 88.5% free throw shooter. Gone to the line a few times tonight, drains the first. Still one more free throw, 23 seconds left. Shot clock could potentially be off if he makes the second. Yes. Timeout called St. Clair. Their final timeout of the fourth. Make the score 101-98. 23 seconds to work with. Aaron, your thoughts on where to go from here?
First off, would you believe that this is the second game in a row we've seen Lambton come back from a monstrous deficit only for them to prevail? But the way I see it, you keep on driving to the basket. Try to find some way to get the contact. If not, you spread the ball around and look for a good shooter. David Gomez Jr. has been having a heck of a night. And in addition to that, you got to look to either him or Jawan Lynch if you want to take a longer shot. But the point is, try to go for the three-point play.
I agree in that situation for sure. The pressure's still on. 23 seconds. And at this point, as you mentioned, the options have to be there. St. Clair trying to prevent a collapse for a second straight game, trying to break a 4-game losing spell. And this has been the closest I think they've been since December the 2nd when they beat the University of Toronto Mississauga on the road.
Yeah, that was a very close game, but you look at the score during the fourth quarter, Lambton's outscoring St. Clair 33-18. Remember we seen the 25-5 blowout in the fourth quarter in the women's team?
Yes.
You best believe this is one of those games that come right down to the wire. St. Clair doesn't want to see this doubleheader go down to the wire like this.
30-18 was the outscore deficit by Niagara in St. Clair's last game. They have the last shot of the game, chance to tie it. Gomez Jr., whistle called on the screen. And it's a huge one. It's going to go against St. Clair. Sykes has fouled out on the screen. And now with 16.1 left, Lambton gets the ball back. Timeout called That's going to be the last one for Lambton to advance them to the half court. But a huge mistake on the pick.
We have seen a couple of cardinal sins committed by St. Clair in their last couple of offensive possessions. That does not look good, because keep in mind, Lambton now has the ball. They can milk the clock as long as they want. If they get fouled, they go to a line, technically game over.
Indeed, for sure. Still 38 seconds left before the end of the timeout. But at this point, what strategy do you have in your hand at this point? Because still 16 seconds left. You have to at least intentionally foul, of course, but you have to hope at least one miss, don't you think?
Well, absolutely, but you got to keep in mind, you got to try to steal the inbounds pass as fast as you can. If you find a cutter, it doesn't matter if you're on assignment with your guy or not. Break off that cut so you can steal the ball and try to go for a quick two.
And we'll see who the option is here. Both teams getting ready to come out of the huddle as you see the Saints make the last of their adjustments. Huge moment in this game once again. One possession lead for the Lambton Lions over the St. Clair College Saints. 16.1 seconds to go. 14 on the shot clock with the ball advanced to the half court after the timeout. Johnny Joseph will inbound it in for Lambton. Two-pointer. Goes right to the cutter, goes right to the intentional foul. Edwards will go to the line. And now, time to hyperventilate if you're a Saints fan.
You have to keep in mind, too, Kadar Edwards on the line, 16 points, 88% free throw shooter.
Makes the first. 3 for 3 in the past 2 trips. And a chance to bring it back up to 5. 14.6 seconds left in the fourth. Misses the second. Smart gets the rebound. Here comes St. Clair. Gomez Jr. for the prayer. No. Goes out of bounds. And once again, that could be ball game.
Surely that's got to be it.
Still have to defend the inbound though. Joseph with 8.8 seconds left. Inbounds it directly Edwards.
Whoa.
As Edwards fouled by St. Clair. Elbow Lynch in the mouth.
You've seen it, I seen it.
You know what? They just said an offensive foul for the elbow.
Oh, that's good. That's good because we all seen it. They try to fight for the ball.
That fight for the ball has given St. Clair a hope with 6.6 seconds. Smart had to put up the quick shot. Gomez Jr. trying to draw the 4-point play, can't make it. And the Lambton Lions move above 500. They win 102-98. The 5th straight loss for the St. Clair Saints. An absolute fourth quarter collapse for the 2nd straight game as well, Aaron.
This is a heartbreaker, but this is the 2nd game of this doubleheader that we've seen Lambton come back. It was a strong 4th quarter, and as you look at the final score, they outscored St. Clair 38-18, 34-18 rather.
With that, we'll be back in just a moment for post-game coverage. Lions win 102-98 on We Digital Productions.
Hi, I'm Josie, and I'm your co-host of the We Digital production, We Now. Anyone interested in promoting a business, an event, a book signing, or maybe even just making aware of the movers and shakers of Windsor-Essex County, We Now can do that for you. We'll get your word out. So make sure you email me at josie@we-tv.ca to book an in-studio session that will air live on Facebook. And don't forget to check out our social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube.
Did you know that the most severe injuries in our region are motor vehicle crashes? 65% of road fatalities last year were directly the result of distracted driving. 90% of injuries arriving in our emergency rooms are preventable. Our message to you this summer is, put down the phone. Just drive. Let's work together to keep our trauma stretchers empty.
We are resilient, often knocked down, but never backing down. You can spend your whole life on the outside looking in, or you can live it on the inside, because that's where your passion lives. The drive to push beyond the naysayers. To find the fire that ignites your toughness. Because the truth is, winning always comes when you start from within.
Welcome back to the Sportsplex, wrapping things up as the Lambton Lions prevail over the St. Clair Saints 102-98. A nail-biter, to say the least. I'm joined by the co-head coach of the St. Clair Saints, Brandon Segan. What happened down to the second half there, Brandon?
Honestly, don't know yet. Gonna have to go back and look at the film. Getting really tired of giving up these leads. I don't have much to say about it. We didn't execute down the stretch. We took bad shots. Not enough defense, and we lost.
On the bright side, Jalen Sykes putting up another 30-point performance. You see a lot of players in double-digit scoring figures, but that's the bright side. But what has to be the adjustments as you go on to Saturday's game against the Eagles?
Just stay positive. I mean, this is not fun for anybody. We're really frustrated, but that's the way it goes sometimes, and we just got to stick with it. And the adjustments just got to be to play a full game, and we haven't done that since the first game of the year, which is unfortunate.
Fair enough. Thank you for your time, Brandon. All right, Royal Church will join in. We're going to wrap things up again. 4-point loss for St. Clair. Both the women's and men's team lost in a very heartbreaking game. Your final thoughts?
Well, you know, I thought St. Clair played well enough to win, Aaron. They did a great job. They were disciplined the whole game almost. Just in the last couple of minutes, they lost their focus, and they weren't playing as well defensively as they were previously in the fourth and third quarters. So they lost a little bit at the end. They still played well enough to win. I thought their discipline was excellent. I thought they were running the ball up the floor and fast breaking and taking care of the ball, not turning it over. So they did a pretty good job. They just didn't need breaks at the end, and you got to get some breaks at the end. That's a good Lambton team, and they turned up the heat defensively, and St. Clair had a little trouble with them.
And St. Clair has to understand this is the third doubleheader in a row, which both the men's and women's team lost. Not a good omen to lead right into Saturday's big game against the University of Toronto, Mississauga Eagles. Royal, thank you again for your good work as always. That's going to wrap it up for us right here. Again, the final score in men's OCAA basketball action. The Lambton Lions 102, the St. Clair Saints 98. We're back here this Saturday night. Be sure you are here, or be sure you tune in here on We Digital as the University of Toronto Mississauga Eagles come to town to play against the St. Clair Saints. Women will tip off at 6 p.m. and the men will play shortly after at 8 p.m. That'll do it for us. On behalf of the entire crew, JP, Justin, Prince, this be Aaron Sanders saying so long from the Rose City.